Indian news ma kwaba assign the ba one kasa fidie so bio. Na maka trust before anything else na just our share na ebiem so kwa na wo subscribe to your channel no. What's the fa political news there? Never governance. We catch you sa pan put to forma yet. Na pan to forma yet there. Ane na nsɛm foforɔ bi nso asan asi. Benim sɛ wode yɛ nsɛm a de bɛn nyinaa no yɛ na yɛ wɔ tɛ na yɛ ahɔhɔ na yɛ wɔ fɛ nso so. Nti no nsɛm foforɔ bi asi a Nimdeɛ news yɛn nso so pane yɛ tɔɔfo mi baabi yɛ ti nyinaa akyi no yɛn nsa atumi aka bi na yɛaso nso atumi ate saa nsɛm bi. Yɛntie nsɛm mmra sisi a na mpanimfoɔ mpo sɛ kakum no yɛgye no kɔkɔɔ anum. Deɛ ba before that no subscribe to yɛn channel no. Ɔmsa bɛka all other news a ɛfa politics wɔn de deɛ wɔpɛ sɛ wɔtie no ɛho. Yɛtie ba yɛbɛn baabi a susu nso pɛ so wɔde bɔde wɔn fa. Na deɛ asie biara no nso fa comment nso to aseɛ na yɛnkenkan mfama wo deɛ ɛhwɛ de nneɛma ɛkɔ. Yɛntie nsɛm mmra sisi a wotie no fa comment to aseɛ ba yɛmfa nkyerɛmu no nso ntoa so. Yɛntie mmra.
Execution and so on from follow me pa. This week, Anna this statement from the office of the president said the chief justice has been suspended. Now, I suspended the chief justice and pursuant to Article 1466. President acted sa committee 5-member. Now, the dean started say about people were making inference or share a dinner banner. It gives you a view of Niama Ekoso, what is in the petition near there. Now, no pay, and I mean one of the petitions, and I'll share with you. I had to make some calls before meet me because I wanted to know say me breaking the ethical rule. But because I'm a journalist and I have my sources, you know, some of them I would say are from my sources. Now, to take a bit of time, I want to follow me. One of the petitions now, I am from a police officer, and I am from ACP Ayamga. Obi will say, then ACP Ayamga, the strength to even petition the president to remove no mean person than the chief justice. Nana, asamno beginning very long time ago in Takrade. People should follow me. This man is an ACP, he's an assistant commissioner of police. And assistant commissioner of police. You are just, I think, at the last rank. Because commissioner is the last rank. IGP rank. If I'm mistaken, people should correct me. I think the last rank in the police is the commissioner of police. And I'm a very senior police officer. And also a lawyer. Now, in 2018, I filed a case with secondary Takrade. What was the case about? Because of the time. The case in the ACP Ayamga, Ekoto Asasia, belonging to a branch of Netherlands, friend Bram Rodenburg. Nana, all those are beachfront property. Na Asasia, a dime was so, a bay you show, they're going to beachfront property, as soon as who beach in any idea Takrade. Nana, or two are so let me read the plaintiff's case for you. And I bet you, as I say, the plaintiff's case is that he purchased a property located at this place, Busua, from one Bram Rodenburg, a Dutchman who was resident in Ghana up to 2013. Nasa Brante not to Ghana until 2013 Okodu Krum. That the purchase is evidenced by a deed of assignment dated October 9, 2015. So now, a year processed by 2015. The said deed was duly registered with the Lands Commission. The plaintiff's case is that by the terms of the deed, Bram Rodenburg has assigned the remainder of his interest 46 years. Now, that's what I say about years. Bram used to property, and by the time I walk on, I 46 years. So, according to ACP police, the interest I 46 years. So, what toss into a hand over side interest, not the amano. To the plaintiff, that Bram Rodenburg negotiated, signed, and executed the deed of assignment through his lawful attorney. And born the lawyer Nidin, Madam Evelyn K. Lai. Sama minana kainidini mame. No, Bram Rodenburg no. The girlfriend on any Ghana. And this girl will be the material witness to Anema Eko Sunyana. I didn't because a kainidini mame no. Now I say it was also the case of the plaintiff that Madam Evelyn Lai's authority to negotiate, sign, and execute the deed of assignment for and on behalf of Bram Rodenburg is evidenced by the power of attorney which was duly given to her by Bram Rodenburg and dated 1st January 2014. Now, the plaintiff case is what to assassin. Now, assassin or to not turn through a power of attorney. Now, not Jan 20. It was say a cocoa and sign BB mame. Now, what I said, man, turn through Jan to direct me to free a cocoa because I want my cocoa according to the plaintiff, the power of attorney. na asam ne court na no bia bo ni nkura. Then when the court was deciding, one of the key issues was the power of the attorney. Now, okay case where there's the full court case, this official court case. The ruling, sorry. Now, you say the girlfriend forged the signatures of Bram Rodenburg and the tone, sa property, Emma police officer.
Sa girlfriend here lawyer.
No, not lawyer. Okay. One man the power of attorney.
Okay, one man to me, sir.
To me. So the girl defrauded
the
ACP. Now, apparently, if be notary public.
Okay.
Say notary public, no, perform authenticated documents. Now, answer no authentication. No, as I would nana jan to a ujina ho. Now, who say what sign be and son our authenticated documents, no, according to the ruling from the Second High Court. Banana almost share the first page of the document now. Almost say a photocopy. Brian no claim they say the girlfriend I found a passport and no left in another passport to buy your data no. Also signature and no left his signature no to do this forgery. And no they say notary public no corporate or call you at Timota. And almost signed the man or the torn property in my police officer.
Wow.
And then Osha the final ruling from the court, my main counsel say, the false declaration made by the notary public is on all fours with a fraudulent act calculated to present the power of attorney as an authentic document.
Right.
Meanwhile, the notary public never witnessed the purported execution and so cannot authenticate same. Nana bofoka kakane chese notary public no ese wo hu se dan to ama power of attorney no nanim asa na authenticate get ne de na ode ba na a photocopy document no authenticate here, so that defeats the processes of authentication no.
Right.
Nana what you say or say plaintiff is a senior police officer and a lawyer. Unfortunately, he failed to exercise due diligence before entering into the transaction for the purchase of the third defendant's property.
Right.
By plaintiff's own showing, he knew about the execution process relating to the power of attorney. He, however, shut his eyes to the obvious anomaly associated with the process and the document itself. Court says, "Who police officer? We a lawyer." And the whole Tadia and Marane Tresse, a notary public, no say, Nipan the power of attorney Nama Sumesi, and son authenticated when Musana or Kotoyano. Why need due diligence?
Right.
This is the statement of the court. And then this is the ruling. Now, interestingly, the lawyer for the police officer in the case was the current Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Justice Ramsay.
Okay.
Now, in the case they travel, even 8,000 cedis cost against
the plaintiff.
The plaintiff.
Okay.
Now, in the case in the court, this is Takrade High Court. A court now the court Supreme Court because of the time, so I've skipped some of the process for you. But now, all girlfriend or properties are here. Case document. What would say be your girlfriend or properties here? Because the court established how the girl was able to defraud a senior police officer and a lawyer and a man who, based on this ruling, I'm not making a general statement. Yeah. Based on this ruling there, and a man who, I would start relevant cases to even defraud a lot of process.
Okay.
Now, no, the case traveled all the way to the Supreme Court. Not telling what say.
Yeah.
As some the court Supreme Court, no, and after date, no, April 5th, 2024. Or say 2024, April 5, 2024. ACP Akrugu Nedine Biwekang Akrugu challenges Supreme Court decision media reporting property fraud case.
Right.
Meka Adamo say Assistant Commissioner of Police Ayamga, a legal practitioner, responded to what he perceived as unjust media representation following the Supreme Court decision in the property fraud case. Now say ACP Ayamga in a region that disputed the legality of his arrest and detention orders from November 14, 2023. Nana date was no timame.
All right.
And accused the Chief Justice of a cover-up. So Nana, the petition against the Chief Justice from this police officer, no, assembly beginning 2018. In fact, I'll say, the controversy arises from the Supreme Court of Ghana dismissal of ACP Ayamga's final review application, a complex property fraud case. Also a Protestant lawyer, blah, 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 say. However, the legitimate attorney proved in court that the sale was fraudulent, and no payment evidence was provided to support the claim. The High Court overturned the sale, returning the ownership to this Dutch guy, Rodenburg, and censoring ACP Ayamga for the lack of due diligence. Despite this event, ACP Ayamga maintained his innocence and pointed to lawyer Shla Abeye Backman for formalizing the disputed power of attorney and sale offer without involvement. This is why Otros are rejoined that way. And what your statement you say? Amidst an ongoing investigation by the Commissioner on Human Rights and Administrative Justice Shraj into the Chief Justice's conduct, ACP Ayamga criticized the Chief Justice's participation in March 27, 2024 review panel as a conflict of interest and a breach of judicial impartiality. And I'm can't know today to ma'am. The reason I made you know this date is because of something I'm come to tell you. November 14, BBC or court. And a media reporters are Brantiano, Etienne, Chief Justice. Abraham Sam travel all the way from the High Court in Secondary to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Now, Chief Justice not a panel, no, so nani anye Abraham behavior. So he ordered for the arrest of the gentleman. In fact, an media report in the trust say he detained him for hours, and it took some senior lawyers in court that day. Send a number appeal to the Chief Justice and the panel. Some lawyer no, and the senior police officer nako. According to ACP Ayamga, yes, I see your court.
Yeah.
It is a media report, and you know, Quentin Otro rejoined and 1. 2, assembly see, you know, Otro Koma Shraj. Nanatio, it's in the first quadro of the board, Chief Justice, you know, and your petition way in the first. Otro Koma Shraj say, Chief Justice Nebunanimase, or say unfair to her. And the assembly 2023, no Otro Koma Shraj, and then a review in March 2024. Chief Justice Abe transfer panel also because we believe is the on the year 2023
no person or as
yes, obey unfair to him.
Okay, I get it.
It's next one ACP Ayamga any Chief Justice beef no a long years of beef. Nana verbatim what happened in court that day. Nana say the report explained that Ayamga disagreed with the dismissal of his application and the subsequent imposition of 10,000 costs against his side. Now, say, according to Ghana Web, Nyama Ayamga bufu yene say, Supreme Court can say they are upholding what the High Court in secondary year. No more born 10,000 and the buan so. His emotional response, particularly directed at the Chief Justice, prompted the court's decision to take strict action. And I mean, we come and say, senior members of the legal community, including Edward Tuya and Dr. Basit Bamba. Now, this man is part of the General Legal Council, President Mama nominating from the University of Ghana, rose to plead for clemency. Now, look at the words that Ghana abused you. And this story is dated 2023, a day after the incident happened in the Supreme Court. I say, to plead for clemency on behalf of Ayamga. Despite their effort, the Chief Justice expressed concern over Ayanga's conduct, referencing a previous report from the Takrade High Court to highlight similar behavior. Ezana, Ebro pleading no, and Chief Justice catch say, Papa, nini huni, oba court and nyama on nya papa. Sana court Takrade High Court so koye. Na this what happened. And when Justice Pomaya says, so no chairman of our committee, the Chief Justice Leniamuno, reported to have advised Ayamga that aggression has no place in a courtroom and urged him to adhere to all rules of legal arena. Manana Utie Ghana were reporting that there was no mention of arrest, there was no mention of detention.
All right.
Now, let's move on. Okay, ACP Ayamga petition now. Unzana in law, one way law, you very circumstantial evidence.
Yeah.
And you want evidence, Nankasa. Me threaten say, me you say, me the car, me you say, the Bibia koto. Based on that circumstantial evidence, and I can be accused to be the one I made do bonnet. Nanamati here. And I real evidence, I bet to say me cry at the Nankasa do bonnet, and me no me general body no, that's idea new crime. Nana, this is exclusively petitioner ACP no. At the command, President John Dramani Mahama, or introduce you who ye be banana on the issues, no issue 1, no, Nana hear or say whether or not after delivery of judgment she made the meaning and disrespectful remarks against me as a barrister. And an answer, the issue on Chief Justice on it's largely about egos. He feel that the Chief Justice bruised his ego, and our Chief Justice then say ye. That is why he's unhappy. Now, I'll see, on 14 November 2020, my case was called for hearing. The names of the parties and counsel representation were recorded. The proceedings commenced and ended by delivery of the ruling and award, of course. The Chief Justice delivered the ruling dismissing my case as without merit, but no reasoning for the decision. Now, I'll see, Chief Justice not to the case, but I'm on the reason behind. According to ACP Ayamga, I was calm and silent and seated when she delivered the ruling. I hadn't talked started. Suddenly, I heard them making off-judgment, demeaning remarks against me to the fact that I am incompetent senior barrister. Banana, asama allegedly ACP Ayamga came. Takrade High Court when catch in the ruling and I'm the chair. Say, we are police in. So when it comes to authentication of public documents, you should know the process. So why didn't you follow the process? So now exclusively. This is one of the petitions. I'm saying the remarks were discourteous, disparaging, and disrespectful against my person and professional competence as a barrister.
As a Chief Justice can, as a man useless.
Yes.
As a woman.
It's an assembly top and say police officer akotasa say. As a son of koto nipo koto no o defraudo no.
Okay.
Ana High Court ebutia wa takrade. Ana samna ba Supreme Court. The Supreme Court Chief Justice rule asem no. And no make comments bi a police ni say anya ne de because obu na nimti as senior police officer ni obi ono so lawyer ni. It's president man yi na di. Again no osan call ya say Chief Justice behavior na against the judicial processes. Any tenet say Chief Justice say nya any judge of the Supreme Court say unya. So this is a case of ACP Ayamga. Now this is also the response from the Chief Justice. The name of a leaky petition, but the Chief Justice has responded. Now, the response in my main time for purposes of fair reportage, I say, Your Excellency, while I do not hesitate to apologize on behalf of the Supreme Court and myself, if any court user, including the petitioner, had a bad experience in court while I was presiding over a case, my humble submission is that the petition does not provide any element of misconduct or incompetence that led to the removal of a Chief Justice under the 1992 Constitution. Now, Nahano, Chief Justice said, okay, Article 146 now. The grounds to remove a Chief Justice, and there are three. Now, what are the grounds to remove the Chief Justice? Okay, Article 146 now. The grounds to remove the Chief Justice are now remove you must prove grounds. Chief Justice said, what's my boo and him court? Me no one can say, oh, me jitum, ebi met my power cho. But you need to prove, say, Sadia course, no. One of the grounds I bet him the Chief Justice Mebush. Now, Article 146 will say, a justice of the Superior Court or chairman of a regional tribunal shall not be removed from office except 1. Stated misconduct or incompetence, or on grounds of inability to perform the functions of the office arising from infirmity of the body or mind. Tinana misconduct 1, incompetence 2. Yariye bi entimi mane na ejuma. Chief Justice say, abrante no kwadu odi abom se mabu na nimtia o court. Makasa me anya ne de no. Me as Chief Justice and the Justice of the Supreme Court, no, that does not prove one of the three grounds for me to be sacked as the Chief Justice. Yes. 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 Osanse, the hearing and proceedings complained about the procedures of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is always composed of not less than 5 justices for the exercise of its judicial function under Article 128 of the 1992 Constitution, except when its work is executed by a single judge under Article 143. In the conduct of the work of the Supreme, the presiding judge, whether the Chief Justice or another senior member of the court, is not the court. So the Chief Justice contention is that they are not 70, even the chairman of the committee in the Chief Justice, Justice Poman, was there. Justice Yoni Kolendi was there. And no one catch us a branch show so many and Justice Poman, Justice Kolendi. So the Chief Justice contention is that why are you singling me out? Because was single me out.
Meanwhile, so Wamaya will say, Oko Supreme Court and Yenny Pabako.
Yes, except in Article 134. Normally, in a 5, who case in a 5 panel. 5 panel, no, at least 3 lawyers on the panel. Now, Justice Kolendi Cradian will say, Justice Kolendi had a used opportunity to deliver a brief lecture on effective advocacy, linking it to the act of wooing a woman. Nana, Sir John Deno, so okay.
Yeah.
Are you go to? Oh, my lord, I'm a birthday crab, Mr. Gunia Mamame. attach your call document no. The client call them. So natural say justice no. You colony can say so person will favorable document. As I said, you only back so person and the chimpana. Defe kakra.
Maybe would the Oba I want to be a police in America.
Or say he emphasized that the courts are swayed by persuasion, not aggression. Now ko po ba wo nya me pew me no betra debi oh ba mani jo ho oh ene ko di kakra oh ene da he me do be pie kakra eye persuasion. So the Chief Justice contends that Justice Loni Kolendi reprimanded you, Justice Poamai reprimanded you, then na me nkwa de wo se me nkwa me de ye wadi. Now what the Chief Justice then say? After say, as stated by the petitioner, other members of the court gave various directions and contributions during the proceedings of the day. All those directions and contributions form part of the work of the court that day.
Yeah, I agree.
Now I say, a justice of the Supreme Court, I wish to also clarify that the manuscript records of the court in the records book of the Supreme Court are summaries of presentation and orders of the day relevant to the business of the court and nothing more. Nana, ACP Ayamga, one of the petition, he accused the Chief Justice of tampering with evidence. Say, some proceedings there court today, no matter delete be a free. So this is what the Supreme Court is the Chief Justice is responding to say. Also clarify say records say and you be no more or say they are summaries of presentation and orders of the day relevant to the business of the court and nothing more. This is the reason why records of each panel are signed by each judge on the panel, signifying their agreement that it constitutes a true record of the essence of the proceedings and orders from the proceedings. Further, no judge manages or administers the electronically captured records of the court. These records are managed by the court recorders. Thus, respectfully, the petitioner's demands for liability for the records he is seeking on the matter